Hi, welcome back to another video. Well, I get asked these questions time and time again. What is the best type of exercise for seniors? Is it strength training or is it endurance training? Or is it a combination of both? Well, in this video today, we will answer the age-old question of strength versus endurance, specifically as it relates to seniors. Let me start by saying that any exercise is infinitely better than no exercise at all. Well, in this 2012 Harvard study, it found that just 15 minutes of daily activity can reduce mortality risk by 22% and extend life expectancy up to 3 years. But there are some forms of exercise that are better than others, specifically for seniors. So to figure out the most effective form of training for seniors, we need to understand the goals that training is trying to accomplish. Well, for most seniors that I have worked with, they want to see improvements in 5 key areas. Number 1, strength. Number 2, endurance. Number 3, mobility. Number 4, balance. And number 5, body composition. So let's go through each of those 5 areas and see which type of training, strength or cardio, is going to help us. But before we dive into those 5 key areas, could I ask you for a small favor by hitting the like button, as this would help me to reach a wider audience, and sharing your thoughts or feedback in the comments below, which would make an even bigger impact. Thank you. Let's dive back. First, let's talk about strength. While muscle helps us to survive old age, there was a study that looked at 1,400 individuals with an average age of 70 at enrollment. They split the subjects up into 4 groups, depending on the amount of lean muscle mass that the subject had. And after 12 years, what they found was that those in the lowest quartile had a 50% chance of dying, whereas those in the highest quartile only had a 20% chance. So, more muscle literally cut chances of death by more than half. And there's also this hallmark grip strength study. For every 11-pound increase in grip strength, you are 16% less likely to die from all causes. So strength is really important for improving longevity. But what a lot of people don't talk about is the different type of muscle fibers within the body, and how important it is to understand those for longevity. You see, we have 2 main types of muscle fibers, type 1 and type 2. Type 1 muscle fibers are responsible for endurance activities like walking, standing, hiking, cycling, and postural support. And type 2 is responsible for faster and more powerful movements, such as lifting something heavy, sprinting, or running. Now, we need both types of muscles as we age, but research shows that we lose type 2 muscle fibers at 2 to 3 times the rate of type 1. So the average person who is 80 years old will have 40% less muscle than their 30 years old self. But most of that decrease in muscle comes from losing type 2 muscle fiber volume. This is very concerning because type 2 muscles are responsible for activities that help us to maintain our independence and mobility. So what do we do to reverse the loss of type 2 muscle fibers? The answer is strength training. The research shows time and time again that strength training is the best and the only way to ward off the loss of type 2 muscle fibers. Now, many health experts will tell you that you need to do walking or other type of cardio training to stay healthy as you age and to maintain your muscle. But what they don't understand is that type of training is not sufficient to maintain type 2 muscle fibers. We need a training program targeted specifically towards type 2 muscle through strength training. Now, thankfully, the research shows that most of the muscle we lose is not a loss of muscle fibers, but a decrease in muscle fiber size. So the muscle fibers are still there, even we have got very weak, and we can still improve their strength. So a research study was done on subjects with an average age of 84 at enrollment, and they took them through a 12-week lower body strength training program. They found that muscle mass increased by 40%. The actual volume of muscle increased by 40% in the 12 weeks, and muscle strength increased by over 50%. Another study looked at people in the 90s and found that they were able to increase in strength with a consistent strength training program. So no matter your age and no matter your history, you can increase your strength in your body at any age. So now we know and understand a little bit about why strength is important for aging and longevity. Let's talk about endurance, which is also critically linked to longevity. The best measure we have for measuring endurance is VO2 max. This measures how well your body utilizes oxygen during exercise. It is a great indicator of the health of our lungs, our heart, our circulatory system, and our muscles. One study linking VO2 max to longevity is the Cooper longitudinal study that was published in 2018. And what they found was, after following 120,000 individuals, was that higher levels of cardiorespiratory fitness, or higher VO2 maxes, were linked to lower level of mortality. The study found that those in the highest quartile of VO2 max were 80% less likely to die than those in the lowest quartile. And even moderate increases in VO2 max lead to a pretty significant increase in life expectancy. So the study provides strong evidence that even small increases in our aerobic fitness or our endurance can play a very pivotal role in improving our chances of living longer and healthier. When we endurance train, there are 4 key adaptations that take place in the body. Number 1 is bigger, stronger heart. Number 2 is more blood in our circulatory system so that we get more oxygen to our tissues. Number 3 is less stress. Less of the actual stress hormones get released in the body in response to any stresses or any exercises. So we become more resilient to stress. And then number 4, we get budding of vessels, meaning that we have more blood vessels in our muscles, meaning that as blood gets circulated around our body, it can perfuse our tissues and infuse them with oxygen. So by now, it should be clear that we need both strength and endurance to be healthy as we age. So why not just do an abundance of both types of training? Well, the answer is interference. Here we are talking about the interference of cardio training with strength training and vice versa. So Dr. Robert Hickson, a PhD in exercise physiology and avid powerlifter, conducted a seminal study on the effect of strength and endurance. He split subjects into 3 different groups: a strength training group, an endurance training group, and a concurrent training group where they did both strength and endurance. So not surprisingly, the endurance training group didn't gain very much strength at all, but saw quite a bit of increase to the endurance. Not surprisingly, the strength training group gained a lot of strength and saw minimal changes to the endurance. But the concurrent training group is where it's get really interesting. What they found was that doing both strength and endurance training led to similar improvements to endurance as the endurance training group, but nowhere near the improvements in strength. In fact, in the first 6 or 7 weeks of the study, saw steady increases in muscle strength in the concurrent training group. And then they hit a plateau somewhere around week 6 or 7. It was as if the endurance training began to interfere with the gains in strength. So the real issue seems to be that when we do both strength and endurance training, our muscle don't grow like they would just strength training alone. So there appears to be a metabolic switch that our body turns between endurance and strength, and the which can only go in one direction. And here is the good news. There are ways that you can mitigate the interference between endurance and strength training. One is just to do your endurance training on different days than your strength training. This allows time for the body to flip the switch back to strength and back to endurance, so that you can make improvements in both. If you have to do your endurance and strength on the same day, do the endurance training at least 3 hours before the strength training. Research also shows that intensity matters. If your endurance training is done at lower levels of intensity, which turns out to be sufficient to yield the longevity benefits and the VO2 max, you will significantly lessen the interference effect of endurance training on strength training. So examples of low-intensity endurance exercises will be like Zone 2 trainings, like walking, swimming, or any other type of endurance exercises where you can talk and hold a conversation while you're doing the exercises. These so-called talk tests, and it's a great practical way to determine how intense your endurance exercise is. Well, I've covered the first 2 of the 5 key areas the majority of seniors like to improve in this video. In the next video, we're going to talk about the other 3 areas: mobility, balance, and body composition. Thank you for watching until the end. If you like this video, please click the like button. Please leave your comments below and share this video. Hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of my future weekly video release. Please also subscribe to this channel. This is free of charge, but will help the channel to grow. If you're interested in improving your health and fitness or losing weight, if you suffer from or wish to prevent back pain, please take a look at my book, which is now available from Amazon worldwide. Thank you.